My parents didn't gift me our family home. They trapped me with a $154,000 mold debt and smiled while doing it. I found out the truth the same day my mom hugged me and said, "This house is your blessing, Sophia." Blessing? The ceiling was literally rotting above me. And my parents already knew everything. Before we continue, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Now let's continue. I was standing in the living room, paint peeling off the walls, smelling something weird, like wet dirt and chemicals mixed together. I had just moved in, thinking my parents were finally proud of me and wanted to help me start life. But the moment the inspector walked in, his face changed. He stepped back like he had seen a ghost and said, "Sophia, this isn't normal mold. This is structural. This is toxic. And someone has known for a long time." My heart froze, because I remembered the way my dad avoided eye contact when he handed me the keys. The way my mom said, "Just sign everything quickly, the lawyer is in a rush." I thought they were just being dramatic. Turns out they were hiding a ticking bomb. I called my parents immediately. Shaking. Mom picked up on the first ring, almost too fast. When I told her what the inspector said, she went silent for 3 full seconds. Then laughed. Actually laughed. "Sophia, honey," she said, voice suddenly cold. "It's your house now. Your problem." My problem? A $154,000 toxic mold problem that could kill someone? Something wasn't adding up. Why give me a house they knew was dangerous? Why push the papers at me so fast? Why did they act relieved after I signed? But things got even stranger when the inspector whispered, "Someone filed a repair request 2 years ago and canceled it." Canceled it on purpose, which meant someone close to me knew exactly what was happening. I rushed to the basement to check the foundation. And that's when I found something taped under the old water heater. A folded, yellowed envelope with my dad's handwriting on it, and the moment I opened it, my life flipped upside down. I stood frozen at the doorway, staring at the man in the suit as his words echoed in my ears. A claim filed under my name? By my parents? My own parents? He stepped inside without waiting, lowering his voice like the walls themselves were listening. "Sophia, this isn't a small issue. The claim your parents filed says you were the owner during the period the mold damage started." "That means I'm responsible," I whispered, feeling the floor tilt beneath me. He nodded slowly. 100% liable. Liable. For a disaster that started long before I even knew the house had problems. Liable for damage they caused. They ignored and they hid. My breathing got sharp. I felt heat crawling up my neck. Why would they do this to me? Why make me the target? Then the man pulled out a second paper. A statement my mom had signed. When I saw her handwriting, my chest tightened. It said, "Our daughter Sophia insisted on taking the house early and agreed to handle all repairs." I felt like screaming. I never said that. I never even knew about the repairs. The man saw the panic in my face and asked quietly, "Did you really agree to this?" I shook my head so hard it hurt. Double quotes. "No, they lied. They set me up." He sighed like this wasn't the first time he had seen a family do something like this. "Well, then you need to see the last page." He handed it to me, and I scanned the lines until my eyes caught a familiar signature. My name. Sophia. Except it wasn't my handwriting. It wasn't even close. "Your parents submitted this as your signature on the contract," he said. "This is what makes you legally tied to the debt." My hands started shaking. My parents didn't just trap me. They forged my signature. I felt anger rising through me. Hot, sharp, almost electric. But before I could speak, the man said something that made my stomach drop all over again. "There's one more thing. After filing the claim under your name, your parents applied for a relief fund, and they listed you as the dependent." "Dependent?" I repeated. The word tasted bitter. He nodded. "Yes, they told the state you're unemployed, emotionally unstable, and unable to manage finances on your own." My heart punched my ribs. Unemployed, emotionally unstable, incapable? They didn't just steal my home. They tried to destroy my reputation. Legally, financially, emotionally. I staggered back, gripping the wall. And then he said the final blow. They received the payout yesterday. The money is already in their account. My breath stopped. They took the money meant for me. They stuck me with the debt, and they planned to walk away clean. But what they didn't know, what they had never bothered to check, was that I wasn't the weak daughter they remembered. And I had something they didn't expect, something even my parents feared. I didn't say a word at first. I just stood there, letting everything hit me at once. The lie, the forged signature, the money they stole, the debt dumped on me like trash. But underneath all that pain, something else was waking up inside me. A fire, a strength. I had kept quiet for years. The part of me they always ignored. The man in the suit watched my face and said, "Sophia, I've seen cases like this. If you want to fight back, you're going to need proof. Do you have anything at all, that connects your parents to their plan?" I did, and they didn't even know it. Without answering, I walked to my bag and pulled out a small black drive. My dad once told me I was too soft. But what he never realized was that softness doesn't mean stupidity. Months ago, when they first pushed the house onto me, something had felt wrong. So I saved everything. Every text, every email, every message, even the lawyer call they thought I forgot about. I held the drive up between my fingers. "This has everything," I said quietly. They didn't even hide their tracks. The man's eyebrows lifted. "That changes everything." A tiny shock of hope ran through me. But before I could breathe it in, my phone lit up. Mom calling. Again. This time, I answered. Her voice was sugary sweet. Fake. Dangerous. "Sophia, honey, we're having a family dinner tonight. Come by at 7. Dress nice. We want to talk about the house situation." Talk? They wanted to pretend everything was normal. They wanted to make me sit there like a fool while they lied to my face again. I kept my voice steady. "Sure. Mom, I'll be there." The man looked at me like I had lost my mind. "You're going back to them?" I nodded. Double quotes, not as their daughter this time. As someone they tried to scam. He opened his briefcase and handed me a folder. "If you're walking into that house, take these. They're going to panic when they see them." Inside the folder were photos of the mold damage, the forged signature analysis, and the timeline showing they applied for the relief fund after transferring the house to me. Evidence they couldn't talk their way out of. Evidence that could tear their whole plan apart. I felt my heartbeat steady. For the first time, the fear wasn't controlling me. The shock wasn't drowning me. I was ready. At 6:58 p.m. I stood at my parents' front door, the same door where my dad once told me I would never make it in life. I took a deep breath, stepped inside, and saw all of them already waiting around the dining table. Mom, Dad, my brother, my sister, all smiling like nothing had happened. But the moment I placed the folder on the table, all their smiles disappeared. The room went silent the moment I dropped the folder on the table. My mom's smile collapsed first. Then my dad's jaw tightened like he already knew what was coming. I didn't sit. I didn't blink. I just opened the folder and slid the forged contract toward them. "This is your handwriting," I said quietly. "Not mine." My sister leaned forward, squinting, and whispered, "Mom, that signature doesn't even look like Sophia's." My mom's face turned pale. My dad coughed, pretending to act confused. "Sophia, you must be mistaken. We only wanted to help." "Help?" My voice cracked from the pressure I'd held in for days. "You trapped me with a toxic house. You forged my signature. You lied to the state. You stole the relief money. And you told them I was unstable just to take more." My brother tried to stand up, but the man from earlier stepped inside the doorway behind me. He wasn't just some random official. He was an investigator. And he'd heard every word. He held up his badge. "Mr. and Mrs. Carter, we need to talk about the fraudulent claim filed under your daughter's name." The color drained from my dad's face so fast it looked like someone pulled the life out of him. Mom stuttered. We didn't mean any harm. the investigator interrupted. You filed a false statement, claimed your own daughter was mentally unstable, and used her name to take state funds. That's a serious crime. My dad tried to pin it on me. It was Sophia's idea. She wanted the money. She said she could fix the place herself. I let out the smallest laugh, not out of humor but disbelief. Then explain this, I said, pulling out the drive. Your text, your messages, your calls. You planned everything, and you were careless enough to put it all in writing. The investigator took the drive and nodded. This will speed up the process. My parents froze. My sister covered her mouth. My brother whispered, What did you two even do? My dad shouted, We did it for all of you. She has nothing to lose. But that's when I stepped forward. No, Dad, I had everything to lose. But I also had something you didn't expect. They stared at me like they were seeing me for the first time. I'm not the weak daughter anymore, I said. I've been saving, building, and working in silence for years. I bought my own place months ago. I don't need that house. And I don't need you, Mom whispered. Where will you go? I looked at her with a calm she didn't deserve. To a home that isn't poisoning me. The investigator handed me a final document. You're cleared from all liability, Sophia. Your parents will be responsible for the full $154,000 and will be investigated for fraud. My dad sank into his chair, speechless. I walked toward the door without looking back. Not once, not even for a second. When I reached the porch, the cool night air hit my face, and for the first time in years, I felt free. They tried to bury me with a toxic house. They tried to break me. They tried to make me carry their mistakes. Instead, they exposed who they really were and forced me to discover who I had become. I didn't lose anything. They lost me.